Good morning, and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. As I recover from Easter, this week I'm resting from writing something new and instead re-presenting some Easter newsletter articles I wrote between the year 2000 and 2012. This one first appeared in 2012. What difference does Easter make? I needed a new windshield. When it happened, I didn't notice it, but somehow a rock must have hit my windshield while I was driving, and the chip started a crack. At first it was only a few inches long, but in a day or so it had expanded, and now it was clear I had a problem. Actually, the problem was that it wasn't clear. That's what happens when you've got a crack in your windshield. The world becomes distorted. If you're looking through the crack, cars can appear in two places at once. Trees start here, and then halfway up, suddenly they're over there. Nothing looks right, and it's hard to figure out our world. Thankfully, yesterday they came and gave me a replacement windshield. And when I finally got in the car last night to drive home, as I looked through the new glass, I couldn't believe how clear everything was, how true and real the world seemed, and how right everything suddenly appeared. And I think that's the difference Easter makes. On Easter, the crack that has distorted our vision of the world is gone, and suddenly we can see things as God intended. Suddenly we see with love and grace. Where before we lived in a distorted world of hurt and hate, now we are free to live in a true world of help and hope. Where before our focus was on ourselves and what we can get, now we are free to see others with new eyes, and because of what we have received in Jesus, to focus on what we give and what we can give. That's the difference Easter makes. Our vision is restored to what it's supposed to be, and we can see the world made new. And it's a revelation of joy. If you come to the Thursday Bible studies, it happens over and over. We'll be talking about some Old Testament story, and in the midst of some story, someone will say, "But that just doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem like God." And we have to remind ourselves that now we're on this side of Easter, that our way of seeing and understanding God is different. Now we see God more clearly. Now we understand God's overwhelming, unending love for us in a way they didn't. With that empty tomb, it makes a difference. In my office, I have a picture of Jesus with his head thrown back in laughter. I like to think of Jesus filled with joy, and there are lots of stories in the Bible of Jesus that way. Stories of Jesus at parties or with children flocking to him. And maybe the real problem is that we don't see Jesus that way enough. So often the Jesus we present to the world is stern and serious. The world tends to see the church as sour, dour Lent. But the Easter message is grace and joy. That's who we are. And that's the difference Easter makes. Easter is victory. Easter is hope. Easter is joy. Easter is newness. Easter is love. Easter is grace. And it makes a difference. Because of Easter, we see the world. We see ourselves. We see each other as God intended, as God's loved, chosen, redeemed people held in God's joy. Blink your eyes. Stare. God has made everything new. Thanks for watching, and remember to let this day belong to God.